Where are the fat people in sports? Why are they keeping fat athletes off of TV? Hashtag haze, hashtag fat acceptance, hashtag fatphobia, hashtag conspiracy.
Weird, it's almost as if you actually have to do a physical test in order to get the spot of being on TV in those athletic tournaments and stuff, because, they want the people who have the best fitness to get the best results and, the gold trophies and stuff. Weird, ain't it? It's almost as if there's a reason that you don't see 700-pound people doing pole vaults at the Olympics.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/Fatlogic, and if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and to see more content like this in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and if you have not already, subscribe and turn on those notifications. Plus, I've been using these videos to kind of motivate myself more and, go to the swim center that's near me. So far, so good. Well, except for the overly confident naked old dudes in the locker room. I don't believe in the concept of obesity, which I have no idea why you're censoring. The word literally means to be fat. It is only recently that we medicalized fatness, which is kinda weird when you think about it. We didn't medicalize shortness or baldness, both of which are associated with heart disease, by the way. Why fatness? The answer is Western society's deeply ingrained hatred of black people. Please read Fearing the Black Body, The Racial Origins of Fatphobia by this person for a more in-depth understanding of this. I think it's really important to understand the timeline here. Okay, what? When did fat start discriminating and just going after strictly black people? Because as far as I know of, heart attacks don't care what color you are. First, we decided that being fat was bad, and then we started doing studies to prove that fat was bad. It started with the BMI, a completely useless measure that literally looks at the ratio of height and weight. It was never meant to be used the way it is today. We grouped people into normal and abnormal. We assigned them a BMI range, and then we set out proving why abnormal people were bad and normal folks were good. Ironically, a recent studies show a BMI of 25 to 30 is actually healthiest, so abnormal is better than normal.
Well, let me guess, you're going to point out the wonderful fatal flaw of the BMI system, stating that two people can be the exact same weight and height but have completely different body styles and they're exactly the same amount of healthy. Because that's honestly what BMI measures. It only goes by your height and your weight. It doesn't care if you're 200 pounds of fat or 200 pounds of muscle. You're going to get the same number. That's why stuff like the DEXA scan is a lot more accurate, because it actually measures your body fat percentage.
What fears hold you back from giving yourself unconditional permission to eat all of the foods?
That would be diabetes, that would be cardiac arrest, heartburn, heart attacks, not being able to fit into my favorite shirts, and in general, just not feeling well.
Diet culture claims that eating sugar supposedly increases the risk of developing diabetes, but that's just not borne out by strong evidence.
So wait, is this person trying to deny the fact that type 2 diabetes exists, or am I missing something? And for the record, there are good sugars, but still portion control does come into play for when you eat stuff. Like, you can't eat 10 pounds of guacamole and say, oh, but it's good fat.
Rant number 87.
Oh, you seem like a fun person.
Dieting doesn't work, and it is still easier. Easier than tearing open my heart and soul and looking closely at what lies within. Easier than accepting my imperfections and learning to be a person I feel proud of. All you a-holes that think I should just diet and STFU, I'm the one doing the hard work. I'm the one bettering myself. What are you doing? Spreading hate on Instagram. So, your choice. Do you want to be at peace, or do you really just want to be effable?
Look, if you are comfortable where you are in life and how you look, that is completely you. That if you want to be confident the way you are, that is perfectly fine. But do not bash somebody else for wanting to change their situation, or if they feel they can do something that feels as an improvement to them, don't bash them for that either. Making fun of somebody else's body just because it's different than you is child bullying tactics, and I thought we all grew out of that. And usually when there's instances where people say that dieting doesn't work, most of the time it comes from them trying to diet and and it not working out, or they get to a point and they plateau. At that point, you just need to figure out what needs to work for you, and maybe just changing it up a little bit can work. For myself, I've been drinking a gallon of water a day, and I've been having little portioned meals that actually help me control what I'm eating. Plus, also, the gallon of water does keep me from munching on stuff throughout the day. I did it before, and I got down to 160 pounds, slipped a little bit, yeah, I'm back up at 230, but I'm making my way downtown again. Already down like 10 or 12 pounds, so it's feeling pretty good for me. You just gotta find your groove and stick to it, because honestly, this stuff does not happen overnight. I wish it did, I really did, but it doesn't.
I have large fat reserves. I'm built to survive a famine if any end of the world as we know it predictions actually come true. Zombie apocalypse, anyone?
Yo, anybody remember Zombieland? What was rule number 1 again?
Cardio.
The biggest lie being told to us is that we can control our weight and work towards a specific body shape.
I mean, if that was true, then gyms would have gone out of business as a whole decades ago, so I don't know about that. And yes, there are some medications that have side effects that say, like, you'll retain water, gain a little bit of weight. That's like 30, maybe 40 pounds max. It's not the reason you become 600, 700 pounds and bedridden. And even then, I've seen people have videos where they've actually been able to lose like 400, 500 pounds, and they look fantastic. Men, women, anybody that does that big of a journey, they got some real determination to them. There was a video I had seen where it was this guy, he was, I think, 500 or 600 pounds, and he was just complaining online about not being able to lose weight. The people in the chat, which was, I think, bodybuilding.com, I'm not 100% certain, said basically, just start wiggling around in your chair a little bit or something. The dude lost 20 pounds doing that alone, just lifting his arms up.
How can I be a good thin ally? I'm not sure how to tell a thin ally how to be an ally. Everything is so personal, and it depends on who you are with and how comfortable they are with their bodies. Whether you've come out as size activist to them or not, what your personality is, the context of the conversation, etc. But maybe a few of the following tips might be helpful. 1. Be cool. Most fat people are used to getting either criticism or embarrassed silence when the weight topic is broached. Be clear that it's no big deal to you, that body sizes are just descriptors. If the fat person wants to explore that concept further, then be really mindful of not pushing too hard. Fat people are imposed upon by thin people all the time, and it can make us pretty sensitive to it. Even when a thin person's talking body positivity, let the fat person carry the conversation, and drop it right away if they seem uncomfortable. 2. Don't treat any of your fat friends differently than your thin friends. If going shopping, make sure it's somewhere that accommodates everyone, or in a mall that has stores for them, and don't always go to their store last. Be mindful of restaurants and movie theater seating. If they need someone to be there for moral support when they go ask to be reseated, or they get the chair without arms, that's great, but don't be their voice unless you know they want you to speak up for them. 3. Street harassment. I personally would love a thin ally joining my screams of wrath at someone who harasses me on the street. Tag teaming verbally abusive strangers is the best, especially since they tend to be cowards that back down when more than one person fights back. But this might not be true for all fat people, and in all situations, you never know who's carrying a weapon, so use your discretion. 4. If you get a tough question like, does this make me look fat? It's okay to show your activist colors. Reply with something like, what's wrong with being fat? Or, no, not that there's anything wrong with being fat. Sometimes it's the little things that count. 5. Feel free to get angry and speak up against fat discrimination and fatphobia in the media. Fatphobic campaigns in your school, city, state, or country. Anything that's bigger than the individual. That's where I think allies can really shine, as long as you are always mindful to not speak for fat people, but in support of them. 6. Being an ally isn't always easy. Use sorry copiously and in a meaningful way if someone gets offended, even if you don't understand why they're offended, nor didn't intend to offend them. I don't know any fat activists who would shun a thin ally for saying something ignorant once and then apologizing and never doing it again. Fat activists activists are people too, and we're angry at thin privilege, not thin people. Though we're definitely angry at ignorant, thin privileged people, especially if they are hateful, abusive bigots on top of all of that. Our main fight is against fat discrimination and oppression, not with allies who are mindful and careful and in earnest.
I can't be the only one that got the whole sit down, shut up, and don't talk unless you're spoken to kind of vibe, right?
Underweight doesn't have to mean thin. A person who is underweight can be underweight at any size if the weight that they are is less than the weight that they would be without restrictive dieting. A person doesn't have to be a thin body in order to be underweight. If I restricted what I ate today and lost weight due to that restriction, I would be underweight, even if I was still statistically in the healthy weight range. Likewise, if my natural weight is around 200 pounds, and this is the weight that I am at when I eat unrestricted, then if I should restrict food and settle at 190, I am underweight. Like it or not, body diversity is a real thing. Some people are in small bodies, some people are in larger bodies. Whatever size body you are in, if you restrict food and lose weight as a result of restriction, you are underweight. And I don't care what height you are either. Two people can be both 5'6" tall, and one might weigh 140 pounds and the other might weigh 200 pounds. Both are right. Both are healthy, set par.
Oh yes, because even dieting for a second is absolutely horrendous for your health. God forbid you lose a pound. So what you're saying is, if somebody is 1,000 pounds, and then if they wake up one day and decided that one day they ate a salad, and the next day they were 997 pounds, they're underweight. Right? Just using the same equation to get an answer.
On top of not being ashamed, we should be grateful for the weight we gained during quarantine.
Look, when everything locked down, I couldn't do a lot of things, like, go to the gym and honestly cut my hair, which is one of the reasons why it's all floofy now. But now that it's things are opening back up, I'm actually going back because, yes, I acknowledge that I did gain weight. I'm not too content with that, though, so, I'm doing something to change myself back to where I was before. I think I'm going to keep the floofy here, though. But I'm hoping that the people that were doing the gym before everything got shut down didn't lose their motivation and are now in a rut. Hopefully, you guys get your momentum again, because once you get the momentum again, you'll be heading in the right direction.
The government has been behind eat less, exercise more, which not only fails over time, but backfires for over 95% of dieters. After numerous rounds of deprivation dieting, the formerly slightly chubby person usually ends up obese. The body fights back against deprivation by making one sluggish, tired, hungry, by amping up hormones that make one gain weight on fewer calories, by slowing one's metabolism and damaging one's mood, brain functions, sleep quality, sex drive, and more. A healthy body regulates its own weight at a healthy level. Americans were pretty effortlessly slim until the late 1980s, when millions started blowing up like balloons almost overnight. That trend spread in the pattern of a virus across the country and to many other countries. What changed in the mid to late 1980s? Fix that, and we can restore our natural apostats.
Wasn't it back in the 1980s or like 70s or 60s, everything was more affordable and there wasn't a fast food joint on every corner of the block and there wasn't more places to eat out dinner? Because seriously, look at the menu. Sometimes you'll see 4 digits for your hamburger meal. Seriously, it might not look it, but like deciding not to eat out is both going to be good for your wallet and your waistline.
But with that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, start up them wholesome internet discussions, everybody's, and if you have not already, subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.